So there's a lot to do, right? And the problem is there's so much to do, and I still find myself being like, meh, I don't know. Like I can't really get behind it. But like I said, I'm playing it. I'm enjoying it. I'm doing my heroic dungeon cap. I've been playing arenas with Tello for the past 2 nights. We capped out on Conquest, and we were trying to push rating last night. We got to like 1700, nothing crazy. You know, I probably completely suck compared to, you know, people who actually play arenas and PvP and WoW. And I just have this overwhelming feeling of the fact that no matter how much content is in this game, after vanilla, after the Burning Crusade, the game to me feels extremely empty. And literally, as you can see here, okay, we're 10 days into a launch of a new World of Warcraft expansion. I'm walking down the road in one of the leveling zones, Valley of the Four Winds. There is nobody here. There's nobody. The game feels empty. If you go to the city, there's a ton of people just sitting in the city, queuing for dungeons, queuing for arenas, doing their professions, flipping shit on the auction house, which is all fine and dandy, and I get that if this is the version of WoW that you love. But for me, let's be real here. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I am not even an MMO gamer at heart. I actually don't even like MMOs outside of classic WoW. I am not someone who really enjoys MMOs. I think that they're boring, they're grindy. Maybe when I was younger, I could get into it, but as an adult, I don't have that much time. I have a family. It's rough. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am not someone who enjoys MMOs. You know, classic WoW has always grabbed me because of the nostalgia, and I just love the Warcraft franchise, the original, like, Warcraft story and everything. But this, to me, just feels like a good MMO. I'm not going to say MoP is bad. I think it's good. I think it has a lot of good gameplay. Pressing your buttons on your characters feels fucking fantastic. You know, I'm not going to lie. Doing the heroic dungeons, hitting your buttons feels great. And the raids, you know, on the beta felt great to me. I'm going to try it out tonight when it opens up. But there's this like overwhelming feeling of like once you get to this version of WoW, for me, it just feels like the game is meant to be played just like retail. You just make characters, you spam all your caps, you're rushing to get all this shit done on multiple characters every week, you hit all your caps, your Valor, your Conquest, get your raid lockouts in. At some point, it starts to feel like I'm not really even playing a game, I'm just doing stuff to do it. It just feels like a bunch of shit I need to get done. And if you step back, at least for me, I know there's people who enjoy this, but when I step back and look at this, I'll tell you right now that 80% of the shit I'm doing in this game, I'm not even enjoying. I'm just doing it to get the best gear to do the part of the game that I enjoy, which is raiding. Okay, raiding is my favorite thing in every version of WoW. So it's a weird thing, right? You level up, it takes forever, then you have tons of shit to do, which is great. If you can be logged into this game all day, there's a lot you could be doing. But let's keep going, right? I'm going to keep going down the list here. So you get to 90, you do all your dailies, you do all your heroics, you do your conquest cap or whatever, and PvP, let me tell you right now, I'm not great at PvP in WoW, I guess. I'm really good at PvP in other games. I'm extremely competitive, and I like being good at things. I like training and getting better at things. My experience with MoP PvP so far, after about 100 arena games, and getting to like 1702s, which is not very high, but it is still a grind, is that it can be fun. And what I mean by it can be fun is that, like, I see the potential and how it could potentially feel good. But the reality of it is, if you're someone who's used to PvPing in the Burning Crusade arenas or vanilla, is that in MoP, every single class for the most part has like a ton of different types of CC. So diminishing returns is like almost non-existent because you go from being stunned to silenced to feared, back to stunned to silenced to feared to polymorph to incapped. There's like, and so many different classes have all this stuff now, so you really need to learn the counterplay and figure out how to not be CC'd the whole time, because I have some clips, if you've been watching my stream, I don't know if you have, but there have been times where I have been literally CC'd for 15 plus seconds straight in arena. With nothing that you can do to get out of it. Okay? Yes, I'm sure there's counterplay to avoid it altogether, but for anyone trying to get into it, that sucks and doesn't feel good. And I'm not someone who's bad at games. I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but I could play games at a high level and a competitive level, and I can get good at them when I want to. And my point of this is that I'm sitting here saying I don't think I even want to because it doesn't seem fun to me. I'd much rather go play a looter shooter or a PvP shooter game or even League of Legends, where I feel like the PvP is more centered around your skill and balance instead of just CC chaining someone into oblivion, and the knowledge and the skill is trying to not get CC chained into oblivion. It's not a fun gameplay loop to me. I don't really enjoy it. I do it for fun with Tello, and I was enjoying it a little bit here and there, and I may continue to do it and see how high we can push while I'm still playing MOP, but that's my honest opinion on the PvP. BGs felt a little bit better to me than arenas when we were doing BGs, but it could have just been because most people weren't geared yet. Okay, so that's my review on PvP from a classic WoW PvPer. Not really a PvPer in Wrath and Kata. And in MOP, but I am a PvPer in other games. I like to play competitive games. So, moving on from that, the heroics. Doing your heroics to Valor Cap, right? You want to get your Valor Cap every single week. It's a rolling cap, so you're never behind. If you miss a week because you're on vacation, that's okay. The cap increases the next week. You can then do that, all the way to the cap and be caught up to where everyone else is. Now, doing them, if you are a DPS and you're queuing without a tank or a healer, absolutely sucks ass. You are in queue for 10 to 15 minutes for a random heroic. I'm on Benediction Alliance, by the way. It takes forever to get into these dungeons. The dungeon is done way quicker than the queue takes, okay? So the dungeons are completely brain dead, mindless stuff. You just go in there, tanks pull 100 plus mobs, and I just hit Mind Seer the entire time, and you just AoE everything down. If the healer slips up or whatever, yes, the tank can die. You can have a wipe, but at this point, it doesn't feel like that really, like, heroics feel like a normal dungeon in every other version of WoW, right? I know we have celestial dungeons coming in a couple of weeks, but that's the experience right now. You just queue up, you wait in 10 to 15 minute queues, you play another game on your other screen, or probably nowadays everyone's playing RuneScape on their other screen, and you just go in there and you do that a bunch of times until you hit your cap, and then you're done. You go buy your shit if you did, your dailies for the reps where you would be spending your Valor points. So those are okay, right? Sometimes it's fun to go in there and press your buttons, but once you're halfway through the cap, you're like, all right, this is kind of boring. I'm really sick of these dungeons already. And then you have your dailies, right? If you're trying to get your pre-bis items for raid, you want to be doing your, that's a giant bug. You want to be doing your dailies with whatever faction or rep you need for your class. So that's not too bad. The dailies actually are not as bad as I thought they were going to be. I'm someone who hates doing daily quests in every version of WoW, but in MOP, they're really not bad. I can honestly say that doing like Claxi and Golden Lotus rep for myself, I can do both of them in under 30 minutes. So it's not like a crazy thing where you need all this time to do the dailies like everyone was saying. That is not bad. So I do suggest doing them. You make some gold, you get your lesser charms, which you then turn into your greater charms or whatever, the gold charms to give you bonus rolls on loot in raid, yada, yada, yada. So dailies, really not that big of a deal to me. I actually don't mind them, which is surprising because that was the thing that I hated the most before MOP came out. I said, I hate dailies. I'll never do dailies, whatever. I actually find the dailies to be like probably more enjoyable than the rest of the stuff that I am doing. Professions, A+ in MOP. Leveling your professions feels good. There's multiple ways to make money in MOP. So that's a good thing, right? You could use your profession cooldowns. There's tons of ways to make money. So for gold farmers out there, I think the experience is probably pretty good. But aside from that, as much as I am enjoying what I'm doing, enjoying playing MOP, it has this awkward feeling of emptiness. And I think that I got this awkward feeling of emptiness in Kata as well, which is why I only lasted 2 to 3 weeks in Cataclysm Classic. It just feels, and by no means am I in the mood to go back and play Vanilla WoW right now, or Classic. I've played it way too much in the past 6 years, but I will always have a love for that version of the game. And what I think it is that the game is a completely different game once we get to this era of WoW, right? MOP is pretty much at a point where it feels like retail light. It's like this middle ground between vanilla and retail where the game is meant to be played way faster. I would argue that this game and seeing how everyone does the heroics and plays and runs all this stuff is far less casual friendly than Anniversary and even TBC. The game is meant to be played at a super fast speed, especially in modern day gaming. Everyone who's doing these heroics wants to do, 100 plus mob pulls and run, and fast. So I can imagine that anyone coming in who's playing Anniversary, maybe you're a little bit older, you're a little bit slower. Straight up, it is what it is. I get that. It's not an issue. I'm old myself. I'm 33 years old. It's not going to be very friendly to you. You're probably going to get kicked out of a lot of the dungeons you trying to get your cap, just because there's a meta to all this shit nowadays. You know what I mean? It's fast. I have this overwhelming feeling of like rushing. I'm rushing to get all this shit done. I'm rushing to get all this done. I'm rushing to get all this done. Now, this could just be because it's been the first 10 days of the expansion, right? I do know that once the raid opens up, if I am just doing my raid once a week and kind of just doing my Valor cap with heroics or conquest capping, really I'd only be logged on 1 or 2 days a week on MOP if I was playing just one character, which right now looks like how I might decide to play MOP. I don't really know if I'm interested in doing a second character yet, to be completely honest. It's going to depend on how much fun I have in the raid. But I did the raid on the beta and it was fun. It wasn't anything crazy to me. So I know I'll at least enjoy that and keep doing it on one character at the bare minimum. But there is just, I just feel like I'm trying to figure out the word to describe what I'm trying to say. Like maybe hollow. Like it feels hollow if you're someone who like loves the Warcraft universe. It feels hollow. Like there's really nothing outside of just sitting in the city and queuing for all of your different number. Everything becomes a number, right? If you think back, let's think back to, Classic WoW. When you're doing your pre-raid BIS grind in Classic WoW, and when the raid's coming out in Classic WoW, you have items that you can remember the names of these items that you're going after. You'll be so stoked when you get that item. I am like full pre-BIS, ready to raid. I'm ready to fucking pump. I can't tell you a name of a single item that I have equipped or anything, or that I've gone after. It's all a number. I'm just looking for that eye level number, and that's what I need, and that's on my BIS list, and that's what I'm going to get. So that is a very different feel from vanilla, from Classic WoW. And I think that contributes to the hollowness of this, right? And sometimes Blizzard devs watch my videos, and if you guys are watching this video, I think that in the future, if you are working on something for Classic, some kind of like Classic Plus or whatever, I hate saying it, but that, I think that's something to definitely keep in mind, is that don't underestimate the power of those like types of items that, everyone's going after, like Onslaught Girdle and your legendaries, Thunder Fury, Sulfuris, like all of that stuff really contributes to the feeling of everything being alive and this and that, because you look at someone and you're like, oh shit, they got Onslaught Girdle last night. Like, that's pretty cool. Like, that, to me, doesn't exist. It didn't even exist outside of Wrath. Once we left Wrath is when I stopped caring and didn't even give a shit about the names of items. You know what I mean? Everything just became a number, an item level, a gear score, whatever you want to call it. And I think that that's bad, and I think that that does contribute to the hollowness of it. But needless to say, I am enjoying my experience so far. Like I said, pressing your buttons feels good. Am I going to play a second character? I don't really know. Am I going to play MOP for the next 4 months? I don't really know, but I can probably honestly tell you most likely not. I really have no interest in playing vanilla right now. But I will say that playing through MOP and doing all this stuff definitely has given me another look at vanilla from a different perspective. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I know vanilla's unbalanced, and I know Classic, it's a shitty game that we've been playing. Everyone keeps saying it's a shitty game. We've been playing it for 6 years. I think that's just it. I don't think it's a shitty game. I think that we've just been playing it for 6 years, and you need to take a break. Because you know what? If I didn't touch WoW for the next 12 months, and then I went to go play Classic WoW or TBC, I would enjoy the hell out of it. I think it's just burnout, and I don't think the game sucks. I think they're just different versions of WoW, and I think they're played for different reasons, right? I think let's talk a little bit more about MOP. I want to talk about the aesthetic. I love the aesthetic. I love the design of the zones. The game is beautiful. It runs extremely smooth in terms of frame rate. But it does, as beautiful as the game is, and as much as I like the aesthetic, it doesn't feel Warcrafty to me. Like I said before, it just feels like a good MMO. Because to me, when I think Warcraft, I think like orcs, humans, dragons, volcanoes, the undead, the scourge, like all of that stuff, you know, night elves, none of that is in MoP. Everything looks like this, which is nice. It's beautiful, and the design of it is great. But again, it takes away from that classic Warcraft vibe that I like, the reason why I like Warcraft. You know, because I'm being honest, like I told you guys before, I'm not an MMO gamer. I'm just not. I'm a PvP, FPS, you know, gamer, looter shooters, extractions. I was big on BRs for a couple of years. Like, I love competitive shooters. That's my thing. But I've also always had a love for classic WoW, which is why I've played it for the last 6 years nonstop. So yeah, you lose a lot of that, right? We're not really fighting any dragons. There's no like volcanoes. It's all, you know, Mogu and the Shah and all this stuff, which it's cool. It's not bad. I'm indifferent about it. But it doesn't have that pull for me, that pull factor, like classic WoW does. And aside from that, I think that, like I said, if I took a long break from WoW and then went back and tried to play this or Classic, or Vanilla Classic, or TBC, I would much more be pulled into doing that. Now, I do know that the game design is a lot different. It's a lot slower, it's a lot less skill-based, whatever, but at the end of the day, in my old age here, when playing this game, which the whole reason I play WoW is nostalgia and because I love the Warcraft franchise, I don't need it to be competitive and I don't need it to be fast-paced. If I wanted to go do something competitive or really try and climb a ladder, I'd go play CSGO or Valorant or Tarkov or any of these other shooters that I enjoy that actually truly are competitive. Whether they're balanced or not doesn't really matter. That's what I would play for competitive. Or if I wanted to play like a competitive fantasy-style game, I'd go back to League of Legends, which I played for years and years and years. I'm trying to make, like, my point is that I don't play WoW for it to be competitive. Okay, I don't play WoW for it to be whatever. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, like, I'm a journey explorer either. In vanilla WoW, I usually fucking boost because I've leveled a million times. I will level on a fresh launch to, like, level 30, 40, whatever, before I start getting bored, and I do enjoy it the whole way, but I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think it is just that it's a different game. The way I would classify MoP is a good MMO. The way I would classify vanilla, maybe even TBC, is a really good version of World of Warcraft. Okay, that's the best way that I can put it. And that's just it. I just wanted to share my thoughts and opinions on this, and that I do feel like there's a lot to be said for MoP. I think it's a great experience for people who enjoy this and want to play WoW this way. For me, I'm in the middle. I'm like enjoying it, but you know, if the servers went down tomorrow and I couldn't log in for the rest of my life, that's all right. It really wouldn't bother me that much, I'll be honest with you. The one thing I really was looking forward to was the PvP, because everyone talked about how great PvP was in MoP. You know what? I think that the amount of effort and time I would need to put in to get to a level where I would want to be considered decent at PvP and MoP, I don't really want to do it. It would take way too much time where I can go spend that time playing another version of WoW that I enjoy, or just raid logging and then going and playing another PvP game that I think has better PvP, like League or a shooter or whatever. And that's okay. I think it's okay to have these talks and really figure out why people start to feel burnt out or hate on WoW or any of this. Like right now, everyone's playing RuneScape. That's the talk of the town. Oh, what classic WoW's dying, RuneScape's thriving, whatever. Like, let's be real. Like, people are playing fucking RuneScape because it's quadrupling their viewership right now, okay? Yes, RuneScape is on the up and up, but on the up and up for RuneScape is still between 100 and 150,000 players, okay? There's way more people playing classic WoW. So that argument to me doesn't make any sense. At the end of the day, I know no one wants to say it, but I'm going to say it. It's all money, and you cannot blame content creators. This is their job. So if you could quadruple your fucking viewership by playing a different game on stream, most people are going to do that, right? It's just how it goes. Like, let's stop beating around the bush. RuneScape is also old. Yes, they do things completely different than Blizzard, but it's a different style game. I don't think it's necessarily better. I think the game is designed and set up in a way where doing a plus version of the game like they did with old school RuneScape is way easier to achieve than it is to do in classic WoW. I think the classic WoW devs are faced with a much bigger hurdle to get over to make that work, because RuneScape was designed with all this horizontal content in mind. It was designed to everything to always be relevant. WoW was not designed that way. But either way, I don't want to turn this into that type of video. But, you know, I don't think it's dying. I think people just need a break is all. You know what I mean? If they took down the WoW servers, the classic WoW servers for 12 months and nobody could play classic WoW for 12 months, and then they came back 12 months from now and did a fresh launch, even though people just played afresh, I bet you everything that fresh launch would absolutely fucking pop off. So basically what I'm trying to say is I think people need to stop saying classic WoW is dying, this and that. There's different versions of the game. I think there's too many personally, and I think we need to drop it down to just a couple or one, which we may eventually get to. But I think it's just burnout. But that's it, guys. Like, play the version that you want to play. If you don't enjoy it, log the fuck off for 6 months and come back, and I bet you'll enjoy it when you do come back. Like, I've done it multiple times over the last year, and that's just how it goes. You know what I mean? Like, once I'm done with MOP, I may just take a break from WoW and not play until TBC. You know, that's just my thought process. That's just how I feel, and I think that kind of rejuvenates you, makes you feel good, and wants you, you know, you want to come back. You're missing it. You're missing that sense of community or whatever. Yeah, that's where I'm at currently in my WoW journey with MOP and how I feel about everything. You know, I'm sure I'm gonna have people hating on me in the comments, blah blah blah, whatever. You know what I mean? It's fine. Everyone's entitled to their own opinions, but I do want to hear them. Whether you agree with me or not, comment down below. Come hang out with me over on kick.com/hammerdance. We stream Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Tonight we're gonna be doing the raid for the first time with my buddy. That should be good. And subscribe to the channel if you love classic WoW like me. We'll never stop making the content, that's for sure. There'll always be something to talk about when it comes to classic WoW, so don't worry about that. But either way, guys, sorry for talking your ears off today. I just had a lot I needed to say. I'm starting to realize a lot of things throughout my journey here with MOP, so I wanted to share this with you guys. But either way, thank you guys all so much for watching and listening to me ramble on about all this crap. I appreciate it. I'll see you all in the next one.